I recently read The 12-Week Year by author Brian Moran and Michael Lennington. The authors say, let's redefine a year. A year is no longer 12 months. It's now only 12 weeks. There are no longer 4 periods in a year. That's old thinking. Now there's just a 12-week year followed by another 12-week year, and each 12-week period stands on its own. When you and I define a year as a 12-week period, something extraordinary happens to our focus. While most people's energy and focus is high at the start of a typical 12-month year, it inevitably wavers, but may pick back up during a final fourth quarter sprint. In fact, the authors have found that most businesses make 40% of the progress towards their annual goals in the last quarter. But during a 12-week year, there's a constant sense of urgency because it feels like the end of the year is always looming, and you need to produce a month's worth of work every single week. So how is it possible to do a month's worth of work in a week and achieve our 12-month goals in just 12 weeks? Well, after reading the 12-week year, I discovered that the way that we achieve a 12-month goal in just 12 weeks is using what I've come to call the 12-week year special ops system. Own your results, plan your keystone actions, and keep score of your execution. First, own your results by vowing to never make an excuse for a poor result. If you can rely on excuses like I was too busy or I was too tired, you'll bail on your 12-week goal the moment you run into an obstacle or you simply don't feel like doing it anymore. You may have heard the story about the general who burned his boats so his army would be forced to advance. When you set a goal, your excuses are your boats, and you'll use them to flee back to comfort the second you think you might not achieve your goal. To ensure you push on, you need to burn your boats. You need to tell someone who will hold you accountable exactly what you will produce or achieve in 12 weeks, and what you vow to give up no matter what if you don't hit your 12-week target. No matter what happens, if your house burns down or your computer crashes and you lose all your files, you will give your friend a painful amount of money, like $100 or $1,000, if you don't achieve your goal. By betting on yourself for the next 12 weeks and not giving yourself any outs, you'll do everything you can to reach your goal and discover that you have infinitely more energy and resourcefulness than you thought you had. Now, after you commit to a 12-week goal, you need to plan your weekly keystone actions. Most people approach their goals without a tactical plan. It's as if they're looking for a destination in a new city without having a map or GPS that tells them which highways they should take and which exits they should make. When you plan, you prevent yourself from missing a critical turn and wasting a bunch of time trying to get back on track. And you ultimately conserve energy because you reduce your daily decision fatigue. If you're going to achieve a 12-month goal in just 12 weeks, you can't be needlessly wasting your time and energy. That's why every 12-week year needs a series of weekly action plans. To start planning your 12-week year, divide your 12-week goal into 12 weekly targets. You can do this by dividing your 12-week goal either into 12 linear targets or 12 exponential targets. If your goal is to train for a marathon, and you can run 5 miles continuously today, set linear targets and aim for 6 miles in week 1, 7 miles in week 2, all the way to 18 miles in week 12. If your goal is to build up your email list and you have 100 people in your list right now, set exponential targets by aiming for 50% growth each week. Aim for 150 the first week, 225 the second, 338 the third, and so forth. Now, it's helpful to think of yourself like an engineer designing a bridge to get you from one weekly target to the next. Since you need to build this bridge in roughly a quarter of the time that most engineers do, you can't worry about making the bridge beautiful. You just need the essential supports to get yourself from one side to the other. Luckily, there are plenty of blueprints that you can use to build your weekly bridge. With a bit of online research, you can find a proven plan for almost any goal. If your goal is to lose weight, gain subscribers on YouTube, or increase sales of a product, there are plenty of proven strategies out there. The key is to take whatever blueprint you find and write down a few critical actions that you must take each week that, if not performed, will make it impossible to reach your 12-week goal. The authors call these critical actions keystone actions. After you create weekly keystone action plans for your 12-week year, don't focus on your weekly results. Instead, focus on your weekly execution score. If you have a good 12-week plan, good execution will always lead to good results. But far too many people abandon a good plan after a week or two of not seeing results. If 2 people are selling a product by knocking on doors and calling prospects, The person who just measures the number of sales they make might lose enthusiasm and quit if they don't hit their sales target after week 1 or week 2. But the person who measures their execution, the number of doors they knock on and the number of people they call, and doesn't fixate on the number of sales they're making, are more likely to hit their 12-week sales goal. To keep focused on your execution and not results, keep score of your execution. At the beginning of every week, you start with a list of critical actions. When you complete one of those actions during the week, you cross it off your plan. Then on Sunday night, you look at the number of keystone actions that you completed, and you give yourself a score. If you completed 4 to 5 keystone actions, you'd give yourself a score of 80%. The authors say, we have found that if you successfully complete 85% of the activities in your weekly plan, then you'll most likely achieve your objectives. But if your execution score falls below 65%, you need to sound the alarm and start adjusting your weekly plan to deal with distractions. Make a plan for delegating some of your responsibilities and plan to work somewhere where you won't be distracted. So if you want to squeeze a 12-month goal into just 12 weeks, own your goal by betting on yourself and never allowing yourself to make excuses for failing to hit your target. Plan your keystone actions to get you from 1 week's target to the next, and maintain a high execution score. You never want to fail due to a lack of execution. You want to know that you left it all out there and that you executed your plan to the best of your ability. That was the core message that I gathered from the 12-week year by authors Brian Moran and Michael Lennington. This book fundamentally changed the way I think about goals. I highly recommend it. If you would like a 1-page PDF summary of insights that I gathered from this book, just click the link below and I'd be happy to email it to you. If you already subscribe to the free Productivity Game email newsletter, this PDF is sitting in your inbox. If you like this video, please share it. And as always, thanks for watching and have yourself a productive week.